This is specifically for people that want to put on extra muscle. All right. Whether you're skinny and you want to put muscle on, or fat coming down, you want to put muscle on. This is something that I think you should really, really, really take seriously and note things down if you feel it's necessary. Okay. So, without wasting any time, we are going to be diving into the recording of the podcast in five, four, three, two, and one. Yo, what's good, meatheads? Hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to another episode of Meathead Monsters Club. It is a free Facebook community where you get the opportunity to meet other meatheads like yourself. All right. Also, don't forget to screenshot and share this podcast to your Instagram stories to show support. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask me, or if you'd like to tune into the live recording to see exclusive behind the scene footage of these live streams, you can search for Matt Butale on Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Okay. And if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's Matt Butale as well. You are welcome to do that too. All right. So let's get into this. Let's dive into the meat and potatoes, guys. Okay. Rep ranges. If you're new to the gym, chances are you might not know what to do. Okay. In today's episode, we'll be talking about how many reps you should be aiming for in the gym if your priority is putting on muscle. Okay, so this one primarily is for beginners. This one's for the people that, again, as I said, don't really know what to do in the gym. Like, they kind of just got there, it's their first couple of months. This one's going to probably, or hopefully, answer some of the questions that you guys and girls may be having. Okay, so if you're new to the gym space, let me break some ice for you. All right. I'm sure you might have heard that the only way to grow muscle and get bigger, in the gym speaking, not speaking relating to nutrition, is to lift heavier weights for less reps. Okay, to lift heavier weights for less reps. However, that in a way couldn't be further from the truth, especially for a beginner. And this is why. Okay, so when you're a beginner in the gym, okay, you don't know what's heavy or what's light for yourself. I'm speaking of a true novice, like an actual beginner that knows, of course, what a gym is and how to do certain basic movements, but can't really gauge, say, difficulty with the weights that they select, simply because their body isn't familiar with what is heavy and they haven't identified what's light. So to go into the gym, especially as a beginner, and not know for your own body type and for your own strength, we'll say in general, what is heavy and what is light for you, and trying to just lift what is quote unquote heavy, is going to likely put you in a position where you are lifting weights that are way, way out of your league. Not to say that you can't pick it up and put it down. You could definitely do that, but to lift efficiently, to, contract the muscle, to isolate the muscle, to, get a quality rep after rep after rep after set of the workouts. You typically tend not to do that and actually lean towards injury and, not being able to train for a while because you're, wrapped around mentally this idea that you need to lift heavy in order to put on muscle, which, as I said, for a beginner, especially for a beginner, couldn't be further from the truth. Okay. You don't have much experience when you're a beginner, and you can't accurately judge what's heavy or light for you. Okay. It's going to take time. It's going to take, a couple of failures. It's going to take a little bit of embarrassment. And I'm going to spare you guys and girls, as some of the stories here, later on, maybe in another podcast episode, I'll share them with you. But I've definitely got stories of me failing with weights because I was lifting too heavy prematurely. Okay. And I had that same notion in my mind that in order to get bigger, grow bigger muscles, and put on a nice, solid frame, I have to lift like just heavy, straight up. Like no weight should be even remotely effortless. Okay. And just so I can give you a, say, guide or rule of thumb, what is quote unquote heavy for you, or what may feel heavy for you, is something that a weight that you can't execute the movement correctly doing, and you can't even get more than 3 reps without somebody helping you to get those reps. That's ego lifting. That's way too fucking heavy for you. And at that point, I'll be honest with you, it's just straight up diminishing returns when it comes to your gains, because you're lifting at the expense of potentially getting injured. And if you're only doing 3 reps here, 5 reps there, and you're not really contracting the muscle, you're wearing down your joints, wearing down the cartilage, and even worse, you're not even targeting the muscle, which makes it almost a waste of time. Okay. Especially for a beginner, mainly for a beginner, actually. Okay. As a beginner, In the gym, going to the gym with the mindset of lifting the heaviest weight all the time is dangerous. As I said, you could potentially get injured easily, and you could injure other people because dropping weights is a real thing. All right, so why do they say you need to lift heavy to grow muscle? Where did this come from? The low rep ranges. They say you'll get thicker if you lift between 5 to 8 reps, every single set. And if you want to get bigger, that's what you've got to do. And if you want to focus more on getting more detail and getting more cuts and shredded and things of that sort, this is ridiculous. They say lift 12 to 15 or more reps per set, as if the amount of reps that you're lifting has a direct correlation to being 100% responsible for your level of conditioning when it comes to being shredded, which is not it. It's not it, guys and girls. Lifting low reps with heavy weights, and then even in contrast, lifting light weights with extremely high reps, not the real way to do things. Not the way to do things in a way that's the most efficient. I'll say that much with my experience and the experience of my clients. Okay. Most of it is just common bro science. I'll be honest with you. The bigger you get, the stronger you're supposed to get. Right. Like that's it's 1 + 1 = 2. It just seems like common sense, but it's fucking bro science, guys and girls. Okay. So instead of focusing on how much you're lifting, focus on this if you truly want to not only grow muscle, but increase your strength even as a beginner. Okay. What I want you guys and girls to, that are going to the gym, that are new to the gym, that are novices, to focus on in the gym is rep quality. Okay. You've heard the saying quality over quantity. Excuse me. You've heard that saying, quality over quantity. Okay. And it stands true here, especially in the gym. Being able to control the weight that you're lifting and feeling the quote unquote burn is the muscle that you're attempting to target. Like that's it. Like you are burning, so that burning feeling, that almost tingling sensation that you feel when you're lifting after you've hit a couple of reps, that's what you're aiming for. I want you to attempt to target that feeling. It's essential. Okay. And there is a difference between pain, like your joints are hurting, like your shoulders and your elbows and your wrists are hurting and things are cracking and popping and you just feel, straight up uncomfortable, and pain. There's that, and then there's the actual, your muscles getting extremely warm, extremely hot, and it's almost like someone injected fire ants into you, right? That's that feeling I want you to strive for, not your joints literally seizing on you because you're in so much pain. That's not the feel the burn. That's not the no pain, no gain that you're supposed to be, that we all refer to. The pain that we talk about is that burning feeling, that burning sensation that we feel when we successfully isolate our muscles. Okay. And even though it may not feel like it's incredibly heavy weight for you to achieve that, and again, it's going to be different for everybody, guys or girls, height, weight, so many variables come into play here, and of course, end goals as well. So, as I said, even though it may not feel incredibly heavy for you, it's the best way to grow muscle. Not only the best way in terms of like efficiency and actually breaking down the muscle fibers enough so that you can heal them and get them to grow at a good enough rate, but it's also way fucking safer. You're not going to have to go into the gym worrying about not being able to do any of your workouts because you have no spotter. You're not going to be in the gym worried to death about weight falling on your neck because it's too fucking heavy for you and you think that's the only way that you need to train in order to get a certain result. It's best that you learn how to get your rep quality, which essentially is the bar path or the motion, the biomechanical motion that you are executing with the specific muscle that you are intending to isolate. It's best you learn, especially for your own specific biomechanical range of motion, what works best for you, which workouts work best for you, the workouts or the reps that you feel the most. And of course, note down the weights that you use when you feel that tingling, that fire, that burning sensation the most. Document these things and repeat them. Repeat them until they're easy, and then add weight. That's what I would recommend, especially for beginners in the gym. Okay. Why? Well, because you can control and contract the weight better. And if you can do that, you can isolate the intended muscle fibers, which will cause more micro tears. And micro tears essentially are just small tears in the muscle that end up healing. And when they do heal, it grows the muscle, right? So think of like expansion. Think of like, think of like a rubber band. You're pulling a rubber band, you're stretching it, and you see that it's starting to like break up slowly, slowly, slowly. It's almost about to snap and rip in half, but you stop pulling it, and then I mean, say that this rubber band had regenerative abilities, it would heal and become a thicker rubber band. That's essentially what muscle building is like. Okay, so if you can isolate the muscle fibers, and you can target the intended muscle, whether it's the chest, whether it's the shoulder, or a specific part in the shoulder, or a specific part in the chest, which you can definitely isolate with certain workouts and movements and reps. When I say reps, I'm talking rep quality, rep tempo, things of that sort. You will be in the green because you're targeting your muscles more efficiently, and the micro tears are happening way more often than if you were to only lift for 3-5 reps tops. Okay, because that's more so related to power, and it becomes less about isolating the muscle group and more about moving the weight, specifically in powerlifting. Okay, and if you are a powerlifter and you are beginning and you want to begin powerlifting, then this might not be the podcast episode for you, simply because it's geared towards building as much muscle as possible with the most, we'll say, effective or efficient rep range, which I'll be honest with you, there is no real rep range, especially because many people's goals vary. But if you want to focus on putting on muscle, I would recommend that the quality of your reps are as good as you can possibly make them, and that you are at least doing 4 sets of between, I would say, just to be easy on you, 8 to 12 reps. Okay. You shouldn't really be aiming for less than 10 reps if you truly want to be developing your physique. And that's just my opinion. It's not like a stated fact. It's not like the quote unquote truth that all the fucking gym bros told me to tell you. It's not that. It's simply put the most efficient, effective way for people to put on muscle, especially beginners. Okay. Excluding powerlifters and athletes that are catering to their specific sport and training for that specific fashion, or in that specific fashion. Okay. So those micro tears in the fibers, in the muscle fibers, end up healing that, essentially when you rest, and that will end up, growing your muscle for you, helping you grow your muscle. And you'll know that you're doing a good job when you start to feel soreness, muscle soreness. Again, not in the joints, not in the, the wrists and the bones and things like that, but true muscle soreness the day after. You know what I'm talking about? If you've ever been running for a long period of time and then the next day your legs were burning, that's what I'm talking about. Delayed onset muscle syndrome is what they call it. It's just the soreness, and you know that you've done your job right if you feel over a few days after that. Right, it shows that you've effectively hit those those muscles, isolated them well, and tore up those muscle fibers. And overall, it keeps you safe. Okay, it keeps you safe. Going to the gym without that ego mindset of lifting up the whole entire building is what's going to help you lift, not only lift and look good, not only lift and improve, but actually lift injury free and keep the gains that you've worked so hard for. Because again, I could tell you how many stories I've had of friends that, just love the gym, man. Like they're in there training their asses off, 25/8, 366, lifting ridiculously heavy, and then boom, they get injured and they're nowhere to be found after they're done healing, even because they lost that momentum, they lost the motivation to come back into the gym. All right. So you're technically creating a potential obstacle if you decide to not lift safe, if you decide to only, put up the heaviest weight for the least amount of reps every single gym visit. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? If you're watching the live stream, type it down. Makes sense, bro. If you're watching or listening to this on the podcast, just silently nod your head. Okay. You are more likely to reach the best quality reps with weights that you can control, especially as a beginner. So, what does that mean? Weights that you can control aren't weights that you can effortlessly lift 30 reps for. Yes, you can control that, but that's way too fucking light. And if you can lift the weight for 30 reps, double the weight and aim for 15. And if you can get 15, awesome, stick with it, especially for a beginner, right? Because you're learning. You got to like gauge what's heavy for you. You've got to gauge what's light for you and pick a weight in between to start at, and slowly add weight as the quality of your reps increase and as the difficulty of that weight decreases. Does that make sense? Okay, don't get me wrong, guys and girls. As I said, there's a time and a place for you to test your limits and lift as heavy as possible, especially if you are a power lifter or your sport demands it, or you just want to test your own limits. But you should not just walk into the gym and start testing your limits left, right, and center if you're a beginner. You don't even know what potential limits you're going to aim for to shatter. And that's dangerous. Okay. That stuff only comes with more experience and time in the gym after you've applied what I've said earlier on. All right. So, to answer the question, as I think I lightly did in this podcast episode, should you focus on getting stronger by increasing the weight or increasing the reps? I say personally both, as I said earlier on, but the priority should always be the reps, the quality of the reps. You know, if you're able to do the reps, we'll say in the best quality, and continue to repeat and refine and polish the quality of those reps to be able to feel the muscle more, to be able to isolate the muscle more. And you'll notice this once, as I mentioned, the day passes and you're sore in the muscles that you attempted to isolate, right? Only then should you begin to increase weight once you realize it's a little bit easier to do the same weight and with the same quality of reps. Okay, so weight has to increase for you to get stronger because that's literally strength. But the reps and the quality of your reps are the most important thing because you shouldn't be gauging whether or not you should be getting stronger or and isolate the specific muscle group. Okay, and or with the weight that you're playing around with, it becomes too difficult for you. You have to redraw everything. Get back to the drawing board, look at it, okay, and come to terms with yourself, understanding that hey, this might be too heavy for me. This might be too light for me. Let's play around with it. And in the middle of that, constantly, while adding or taking away weight, you are working on the quality of your reps and you're working on feeling the actual muscle work. It's not a number. There's no magic number that's going to make you grow. It's your efficiency. And the efficiency, if we're really going to boil it down, comes to the quality of your reps. And then from there, you can tweak everything else in favor of that, the quality of your reps. And if you notice that you're increasing the weight and the quality of your reps start to decrease, stop increasing it. Step back. Okay, it's a sign showing you that your body is giving up or giving in. And you may have the power to move the weight, but you do not have the strength to isolate the muscle with that weight on whatever apparatus it is. If it's the bench press, if it's whatever it is, squats, anything. Does that make sense? Guys and girls, rule of thumb, don't increase the weight until you can do at least, we'll say 8 or 12, 15 reps in a controlled manner with modest difficulty with the way that you selected. Cool? Makes sense? All right, people. Hope this one helped you guys and girls out. Now it's time for you to take action. If you like this episode, share it out with a friend. I hope I was able to deliver a valuable experience to you guys and girls today. Thank you so much for your precious time and attention. P.S. I will not be monetizing this podcast with ads because I respect your time and I just want you to hear what I've got to say. Right? Straight value. All right? Don't forget to screenshot and share this podcast to your Instagram stories to show support. Let's embrace your inner meathead together. All right? It's been nice chatting. Hope you like what today's topic was about. Natural IFBB Pro Matt Butale signing out. Boom. All right, folks. Podcast is recorded. I'm just going to scan through and look at a couple of questions here real quick. Just trying to help you out real fast. As fast as I possibly can. All right. Okay, so first of all, thank all y'all for showing up today on TikTok. You know what the fuck is good. All right. Let's see. Mad Max, much love. He says, "Yo, can I see some abs, please? I don't have it." No, I'm not doing that. That's creepy. If you really want to see abs, you can just go to my Instagram profile and they're all there. Goku Solos gang, what's up? Raps in 7. I hope so. Should I train calisthenics or train at the gym? You're 14. Depends. What's your goal? And I personally say, if you haven't trained, regardless of your goal, if you've never trained in your life, learn how to move your body weight first. That's going to actually teach you a lot about your biomechanical range of motion because not everybody can move their arm like this in the same way. Not everybody can bend down and touch their toes, using the same hinges and like bending the same way. Some people have stiffer backs, some people have looser muscles and things of that sort. And when you are able to control your body weight, by doing pull-ups, push-ups, and all that stuff, in the journey of that, you're going to end up finding what your biomechanical range of motion is, or at least reps that feel good for you, reps that you feel like you can isolate the muscle that you're intending to isolate without your wrist getting in the way or without your elbows getting in the way, right? So I would recommend, if you've never trained in your life, you're 14 years old, and this is something that I did when I was younger. Learn how to do pull-ups, learn how to do push-ups, learn the basics. Okay, then you'll know what it technically supposed to feel like for yourself. Like, you'll know what it feels like when you're hitting your chest, and then when you go to do a bench press, or when you go and eventually do dumbbell bench press, you'll be able to feel the isolated parts of your chest. For example, we're just going to talk about chest, that you're hitting based off of your muscle memory from doing push-ups. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Twinkle Tart, I appreciate the follow. Much love, homie. Much fucking love, dude. All right, folks. Hope that answered your question, brother. If you've got any other questions, hit me up on Instagram. That is in my bio, man. I'm gonna run out. You know what it is. Hope y'all have the best motherfucking Tuesday of your life. You're most welcome, Twinkle Tart. Peace and love. We are out. Boom.